travelers, and luxury destination adventurers. It's now time to enjoy the journey on Enjoy the Journey with David Hartman and guests. And now, here's David Hartman.
In the Keys.
Greetings from paradise. David Hartman, owner of Fantastic Endeavors Travel Agency. How y'all doing today? It's the Enjoy the Journey luxury travel show. Here from the Bug Pub in Almirada in Rainbow Village. Mile marker 86.7 on the Bayside. Another beautiful Monday in the Keys. Thanks for everyone coming down. We're here on Facebook Live. We're here on 2 different channels of Facebook Live. David W. Hartman, my profile, and also Fantastic Endeavors. We're doing steady cam footage of the Bug Pub as we do the show. And also want to thank you for being on Radio A1A and the A1A Media Network. So great show today. We have a brand new sponsor, Atlas Ocean Voyages, coming on. We also have Gary, proprietor of the Bug Pub, going to come up real quick, talk about these wonderful drinks. Talk about Keys Paradise. We got Keys Paradise right here. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Atlas Ocean Voyages offers smaller ships designed for luxe expeditions that extend the reach of adventure travel by sea, with their first ship launching in July 2021. Venture to small villages and remote locations, from the desert city of Petra to the frozen tundra of Antarctica. To experience Atlas Ocean Voyages, call David Hartman, 305-453-9208, Dave at bucketwishtrip.com.
You know, they may be called smartphones, but they are handled by regular folks like you and me. And we break things. Well, no more freaking out about breaking your smartphone, because Keys Smartphone Repair is here. Just click or call keysmartphonerepair.com. That's keysmartphonerepair.com. keysmartphonerepair.com. It's fast, professional smartphone and tablet repair located in Tavernier, mile marker 90. keysmartphonerepair.com. Click it now and save.
The Health Genie System Checker answers 3 important questions when you are feeling ill. What is wrong with me? How ill am I? And where can I receive care? System Checker puts the information and answers at your fingertips with the most advanced triage and healthcare technologies available. Engage on a personal level in your own words to describe your symptoms with no smart trees or drop-down menus that force self-diagnosis. Health Genie System Checker provides an avenue to early healthcare engagement. Hello, David Hartman with Fantastic Endeavors. Fantastic Endeavors is a full-service travel agency based in Key Largo, Florida, specializing in custom individual and group travel. Our luxury travel advisors inspire people to answer 2 questions. What is your bucket list trip? And where do you wish you were right now? Fantastic Endeavors will personally tailor your journey to your needs. We build extraordinary, enriching experiences curated just for you. Call us today at 305-453-9208 or email at dave@bucketwishtrip.com. Enjoy the journey. We thank Brandon today. The VP of Sales will be on shortly to talk about beautiful cruise line. And why do I love this cruise line? Because I'm the travel agent that asks 2 questions. What is your bucket list trip? And where do you wish you were right now? Well, I wish you were all right here with us. We have a great crowd here today watching. And you'd all get one of these fresh coconuts made here. I'm staring right at the area where the coconuts are made. And if you go to the Fantastic Endeavors page, they're going to show this whole courtyard where we're sitting in the Rainbow Village. But first off, we got Gary, becoming a big fan of our people. The special officer. Hey, good to see you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. This is Gary, who was on last week, our wonderful host here as far as location. And what's going on at the Bug Pub? You guys are now truly open for business, and
yes,
the Keys are open
finally.
for business.
Yes, we
and
are.
Just you can probably hear a little bit of road noise in the background. Route 1 is jamming with people.
That's awesome.
That's because we're open for visitors. There are some restrictions. You got to wear your mask in certain places, and there are some limitations. But over here, how are things going at the Bug Pub?
Good. We're getting some new things rolling. We're starting wine slushies actually with seasonal fruit. So we've got them with the lychees, the mangoes. We've got pina colada ones, and then just pineapple ones as well. Obviously the iced coconuts, as we mentioned. That's our staple around here. A lot of people come and love those. And then we do the Coco Loco with a shot of rum in them as well. Those are great with
Very nice.
Local key limes. We finally got our hours approved, so we're doing.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but yeah, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. during the week, and then on the weekends we're doing 10 to 11 p.m. 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
That is
then
fantastic.
we got weekday happy hour specials going on as well. So during the week, from 5 to 7, we're doing 50% off on beer and wine. So.
Well, in the Keys, we always love drink specials.
Yes,
We love a good
we do.
happy hour. And the Bug Pub here has it going on. Now on our feed, David W. Hartman, my profile feed today, you can kind of see just us behind here because we have a set today. We have guests, a very professional show here. But if you go to Fantastic Endeavors, I have my production assistant streaming there using a Steadicam, showing some wonderful footage of this courtyard. And she's going to walk all over and show where the coconuts are made. They are fresh coconuts. I'm staring at a big bushel, right, of fresh coconuts.
Yep, we just got those in yesterday, and then I sit there with the hatchet there and cut them open for everybody.
Every good bar needs a good hatchet, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how much are these coconuts?
They're $5 a piece, just cold. And then if you like the Coco Loco with the shot of rum and the key lime, they're $10.
I'm going to do a quick pose and toast for the camera.
Yeah, cheers.
Watch the mic. Bring the mic.
These ones are great. They're so sweet. I love them.
Now, you almost come down to the Bug Pub and check this out. And come down at 2 o'clock and share with me every Monday on my show. So
Absolutely.
that is so good. And I love the holder. It's like so Keysy and so coconut.
Yeah, we
so
came
tropical.
up with that. I loved it. Yeah.
We always appreciate the show coming here. Appreciate the specials you guys have and offer. Every time I come in here, you're so nice and accommodating, and we love doing the show here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show as well. It's always a pleasure to have you at the bar.
Repeat again, how do people find you? How do they get a hold of you on Facebook, social media?
Facebook is probably the best way to follow up with constant updates, whether we're having live music or different events going on. Facebook would probably be the best way to follow us. We're also on Instagram as well, at The Bug Pub on Facebook and at The Bug Pub Almirada on Instagram. Also
Excellent.
on Google as well, but yeah.
Come down the Bug Pub, mile marker 86.7 in the Rainbow Village in Almirada, Florida Keys, Florida. Big Betsy, the million-pound lobster out front, the most Instagrammable place in the Upper Keys, and
Yeah, I think
number
it's
2 outside of the southernmost point in Bowie.
Absolutely.
Come out, check out the wall by Amy, Amy's Creations. She was on the show last week.
Yep, she's got
And
some
check out the
awesome
beautiful courtyard. I know last week I got a lot of complaints like, hey, we can't see what you're talking about. We did have pictures kind of streaming, but a lot of people on audio. But now we're actually streaming live on Fantastic Endeavors page, my business page for my agency, and that's a whole different feed. The audio is much different. It's a just mobile phone mic, unlike the professional mic we have here. But that's more for just seeing and checking in on what's happening at the Bug Pub. As my production assistant now is going through and showing some great footage of your place. And improvements inside, I stopped in yesterday. I was like, whoa, big change going on. So if you've been here, come on back. And then here, I said the parachute, the surprise in the parachute. I see you have some new light stands for events.
Yep, we got some new lights.
Lots of new plants.
Lots of new plants.
You guys are doing a great job.
Thanks.
Keep it up.
Thanks
Keep
for
it
having
going.
us. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for
Good
having
to
me.
have you on. Thanks for the drinks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Come on down to the Bug Pub. We appreciate them hosting the show. The reason we have the show here, it started with Michael Marinelli, real estate con. Thank you, Michael. He has a relationship, and he knew these guys and started his real estate show. I appeared in the show to promote this show. And I decided, like, this is a great place because the environment. You know, this was just a white background. They improved it. Everything they improved it. This desk here was built by the father-in-law of Gary, Bianca's father, who's very handy for shows. And it's just a great place to hang out. It's very tropical. It's very Keysy. So that's why we're here. So I'm checking on the feed. I look forward to your comments. Please, David W. Hartman, tell us what's going on. Tell us what's happening. Give us questions. Our sponsor is going to come up next. Oh, we're live. Hey, how about that? Yeah, people liking, people champing. It's pouring rain, Homestead. Sorry, Jan. I'm just going to open this up so I can see your comments. I'm just wasting time until I have my sponsor come on. So Atlas Ocean Voyages, I ran into them. I'm going to repeat a little bit from last week for all the new listeners. And thank you for joining the feed today. I ran to them mostly because first, my friend Michelle Suarez worked at a former host agency I was a part of. And on Facebook, I know she left to a new company. I said, Atlas Ocean Voyages, and I checked it out. I said, I love Lux Expedition. I love luxury trips. Why? Because I'm a bucket list travel expert. I'm a bucket list trip guy. And I said, hey, Michelle, contact me. But she was fairly new, and I didn't really hear from her yet. And then I went to a man named Brandon Townsley. My guest today did a phenomenal webinar. This guy's a professional. I'm on a lot of webinars. This guy did one of the best I've ever heard. And I was sold. I said, I got to represent this line. I mean, I represent all lines, but I mean, I got to put my stamp behind it as a $1 million agency, as a accredited cruise person. And I really got to promote them. Then I pitched them, said, hey, I have a travel show. I'm looking for marquee sponsors. All the cruise lines are hurting. All their interested sponsors backed out. But you guys are new. What do you think? And Alyssa Logan, happened to live here, knows Radio A1A, so that got the ball rolling. At the same time, I told the story last week, I ran to Brandon's second webinar about Antarctica expeditions and the famous solar eclipse cruise, Antarctic cruise, happening next year, which we'll talk about more later on the show, so you gotta stay tuned. But next up, I wanna thank my guest, who'll be here for a little while today. He's been in the Keys actually all weekend hanging out. Come up, Brandon. Thanks for being here.
Hi, how are you? Great to be here.
Welcome to the Keys.
Thank you. It's nice to be back. It's been a while.
It's my first time meeting you, but I feel like I know you because I've been on 2 of your webinars, and I'll say it again. I'm on a lot of webinars, especially of late.
Yeah.
Of all the updates, all the cancellations, all the craziness, and you're more in tune to attend a webinar. And there's some ones out there with famous names that do pretty well, but you're a professional, I gotta tell you. I'm very impressed with your webinar, so thank you.
Thank you. I try to make it a little bit more relaxed and engaging. We throw a little humor in there every once in a while and make it interesting, so glad you enjoyed it.
And so Michelle got me interested just because who she is. I was always fond of Michelle. She wasn't my coach at the previous host, but we knew each other from conventions and things. So if she was, leaving a very credible host to do this, I was like, okay. And then obviously through Clea or somewhere, I got your invite for the webinar, and I said, okay. Went on it, and that was just the one with information about the cruise line.
Right.
So that's what I want to cover first today. So a lot of people watching, a lot of people listening. We have an international audience, and I have 3,000 fans on Facebook, plus millions of listeners on A1A. Tell us about Atlas.
Sure. Atlas Ocean Voyages. We are probably almost a year old right about now. I've been with the company a little over a year. Started as a consultant in the conception and brand building exercise. We launched for sale January 1st of this year, so we've been on sale with all of our inaugural season voyages in the Mediterranean, and we launched Antarctica at the beginning of May, which we're very excited about. That's going to be sort of our...
so that was new.
That's brand new. That's our vanity. We're really excited about that. Our first ship is the World Navigator, and she's an expedition type vessel, and everybody I think is familiar with what that means in the polar regions and Antarctica, and we have a fleet of Zodiacs on board that will bring our guests ashore to have amazing experiences and actually set foot on the 7th continent, which is in the bucket list for many people.
It is a true bucket list trip.
But also it means something special when we're in warm waters as well. When we're doing the Mediterranean, the Western Mediterranean, we're in the Baltic Sea, we're going back to the Eastern Mediterranean and going to Israel and Egypt. So having an expedition type vessel really leans into the authenticity of the experience, where we're able to get our guests on Zodiacs and to shore and some of the more less traveled and remote areas. So having an expedition style ship in warm waters is also very exciting for us as well.
Now, I take good notes. So am I right? There's 18 Zodiacs on board?
18 Zodiacs, 10 guest Zodiacs, so we can get all the people out on a Zodiac and on shore and doing Zodiac cruises at the same time. They have a 65 horsepower engine, so they're very, very safe. We can do it very, very quickly, efficiently, in the safest manner possible.
Now, for those of you on board watching and wonder what I do all day, I'm actually on webinars taking notes. It's not all travel and craziness, although a little bit of it. We have fun in the industry.
Yeah, of course.
So you're in the industry, and let's back up a little bit. How did you get to Atlas? You know, before I kind of like stalked your LinkedIn page, like any good professional, and I was impressed. Like, wow, this guy's been to some very credible companies.
Right.
And so, what was your path, trajectory? Where'd you want to go, and how'd you end up at Atlas?
So, actually, I got into the cruise industry quite by, not mistake, but just I happened upon it. My mother was actually worked for a reputable travel agency in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I was very fortunate as a youngster to be able to travel with my mother and my family, and we went on a cruise for my graduation in, well, we'll not get into the year, but it was a while ago. So that sort of got me drinking the Kool-Aid right then. Then I was actually in graduate school, and I happened to meet somebody that said, "Give me your resume," and 2 weeks later, I had a job at Royal Caribbean. Spent 3 years at Royal Caribbean in a revenue management capacity. An opportunity came along at Norwegian Cruise Line, where I had the good fortune to spend 16 years and really develop as a professional. And that really, set the direction of my career. I held a variety of sales roles for both domestic sales and international sales, charters, meetings, and incentives. We did some really exciting charter programs when I was at Norwegian. So that really set my trajectory for the future. I spent a couple years at MSC Cruises as they started their entrance into the North American market, and as they started to build the brand and really embrace the North American trade community and the travel advisor community. Then an opportunity presented itself where I was able to spend a year at Virgin Voyages and getting them set up and headed in the right direction. And then the Atlas Ocean Voyages opportunity came along, and that was really an opportunity to join a startup company from the basement, from the ground up. You always hear about companies getting started in like a garage or somebody's back room, and this was sort of the same kind of thing. There was a concept that we were well funded from our parent company, Mystic Holdings in Portugal, that has their division. Our parent company is actually Mystic Cruises, and they started a shipbuilding program of ocean-going vessels and wanted to really focus on the North American market. So we're headquartered in Fort Lauderdale. We are a North American company. Our source market is Americans and Canadians, and our intention is to fill the ship through North American travel advisors. So we started in a shell of an office. I like to tell people we had our own laptops, we were using our Gmail accounts, and we were using our hotspots for Wi-Fi. And then after a few months of doing that, we actually moved into a proper office and have a proper Wi-Fi system and a server and a reservation system and a team of luxury adventure experts that are ready to take reservations. We have a PR team. We have a blossoming marketing team. We have a few people in field sales, and we're growing that area while others are sort of pulling back on human resources. We're actually hiring, which is very, very exciting in this day and age in the current environment we're in. So, we've grown into a full-grown, healthy company. We're taking bookings for all our expeditions through March of 2022. We're very excited. Our group program has taken off, and thank you for your group business and the Solar
Eclipse
Cruise.
We'll talk about that in the second half of the show. My group on the Antarctic Solar Eclipse Cruise.
So just being in the industry for so long and working for some really well-established companies and brands, it's been a great opportunity to learn the wealth of information I've been able to collect over the years, both good and bad. I mean, you got to take the bad with the good, but I think that it's just, personally, it's really exciting to be able to pull from all those experiences and actually launch a brand new brand and concept into the industry. So it's very exciting.
Well, I'm excited for you guys and your stories. I mean, you worked from some great companies, and I've been that way too, and I've identified opportunities to pursue. And not all of them work out, but obviously with your experience, you can say, hey, this is a good brand.
Yeah.
And I've been in this business 16 years, 12 as more of a cruise specialist. And I could say, from my experience, these guys are doing the right things. I like the fact that you were new. In this day and age where, I mean, everyone has to cut back, like you said, it's just, you have to. I'm like, these guys are just building, and their launch is now next July for the
Correct. Our inaugural voyage is July 17th from Malta.
Oh, we have a date.
Valletta,
July 17th.
July 17th from Valletta in Malta to Piraeus, which is a port city for Athens. So it's through the Ionian Sea, some really unique ports in the Greek Isles and things like that. What we like to be known for is maybe going to lesser known ports, off the beaten track destinations. Although we're going to talk about what we call our bucket list Mediterranean, because we did carve out a great itinerary so people could check off all those bucket list destinations and some of those wonderful cities in Rome and Florence and Italy and Marseille, Barcelona and others. But we really like to carve out sort of the unique destinations and take guests to those lesser known ports.
Excellent. And just some of the destinations they have: Antarctica, the Black Sea, South America, and then bucket list. Maybe we talked about Holy Land, Caribbean and transatlantic. These are just some of the generic itineraries on their website, and it's atlasoceanvoyages.com.
Correct. Yep.
And by the way, this is social media, and social media is all about support. Go to Atlas Ocean Voyages, like their page, follow it. Go to Fantastic Endeavors, like that page, follow it. And then if you're not friends with me on Facebook, feel free to friend me so we can stay in contact via Messenger. I'm here as a travel agency to answer questions. That's all we do is answer questions. And we know from Lux Expedition, it has a premium price. It may not be for you listening, but you know what? With a year to launch away, proper savings program and planning ahead, I have people who I never thought would be interested budget-wise in my Antarctica trip, kind of jumping ahead, just because it's such a cool thing. And they're like, I'm saving money now, I'm saving money now. But I like the fact that you guys are truly all-inclusive.
Yes,
there's a few lines out there doing it, and you guys are kind of like more unique. So tell us, how does your all-inclusive Lux Expedition product differentiate from the rest of the industry that in that Lux Expedition kind of tier? What I mean by the Lux Expedition, they're cruises to very hard-to-reach places: Iceland, Arctic Circle, Antarctica, with small ships that have luxury amenities. Is that correct?
Right, correct, yes. Okay. So what we did is our president, Alberto Aliberi, who would love to come down and join you.
Who will be on the show, and Atlas is on the show once a month, part of their sponsorship. And thank you guys, by the way, for being a top-tier sponsor of the show on the A1A Media Network. Much appreciate that. And we're having a guest every month. And Michelle may come down. Alyssa, when she comes back from the West, will come down. And I love to hear today, for the first time I heard, the president will come down and be on the show.
He's looking forward to that. And he has a very unique background. He came from another luxury brand. I don't want to really talk about other brands. And then spends 15 years with our parent company, Mystic Invest Holdings, over in Portugal. And so he comes from a luxury background in the operations side. So collectively as a group, with him leading the discussions, we created this brand, and we really saw an opportunity in the luxury sector of the marketplace, and then even inside that sector, the luxury expedition type experiences that are beautiful and wonderful, but many of them are very, very formal. So you have to pack that tuxedo. There's formal nights. It can be a little bit structured. We hear at night on these brands that there might not be too much activity at night. Everybody goes to bed. So we really found an opportunity, or we think is an opportunity, to appeal for that luxury traveler that's looking to go to a place like Antarctica, or up to the Arctic Circle, or even in warm waters, going to a lot of those lesser known ports and really off the beaten track and having more close-up authentic experiences in the areas of the world that they go to. But yet they want to do it in a more relaxed setting. They still want their Michelin star inspired dining. They still want their 5-star accommodations. They still want their very guest-centric personal service, but they want to do it in maybe a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere. And actually sitting here in the Keys, somebody said it's a Keys vibe, and I don't want to say that's what's going to be on the ship, but it's going to be a more relaxed vibe. So guests can leave their tuxedos at home, they can leave their ties at home, and come on board, and basically our dress code is bring your own vibe. We want everyone to just feel comfortable. So what's going to differentiate us from some of the other luxury brands is we'll be a little more laid back. Instead of being champagne and caviar, We like to consider ourselves to be craft cocktails and canapes or tapas or something like that.
Very nice.
We're going to have great friendly service. It's going to be very engaging, not so much white glove formal service, calling you Mr. David or Mr. Brandon or Mr. Townsley. It's going to be more casual, but it's going to be very personal. It's going to be conversational. Our crew is going to actively engage with guests and offer that little more relaxed sort of vibe to the whole experience. We will have a bit of nightlife, very engaging entertainment, so we'll keep people out at night and entertain them in a very engaging manner. And our activities will be little on the or in our excursions a little bit more on the active side. So they'll be a little bit more adventurous. You might see some extreme sports mixed in there, maybe hang gliding, really cool stuff in some of the ports we go to, like in Crete. We're going to have this bungee jumping experience off a tall bridge.
Adventure.
We'll have bugging in the deserts in Israeli. We'll have some glamping experiences in places along Israel and maybe in the Temple of Petra. And hot air ballooning in Cappadocia, whitewater rafting in southern Italy. So little things that are more active. So that more relaxed vibe paired with that more active experience is really what's going to differentiate us in the luxury conversation.
Excellent explanation. And that's what I kind of saw in your product, because I do sell the other lines. I'm a full service travel agency, and I have sold expeditions to Antarctica on some of these lines, and they do a great job. And you guys are coming out with a kind of unique tinge on that. It's like, hey, we have hang gliding here. We have, I don't know how many Zodiacs, 6 Zodiacs landing in Antarctica. Some cruises in Antarctica don't even stop.
Right, we call those scenic cruisings. You see it from a distance.
Wave to the last continent that was on your bucket list.
Lisa Logan, who's our sales manager or sales director, you were talking about, she lived down here in the Keys. She had an excellent analogy, and she did recently a cruise with a large cruise line, but it was a scenic cruise, and she had a friend that actually worked for one of the other smaller vessels. So she had her pictures of penguins, which were a colony way off in the distance, and then his picture of penguins where he's standing right next to an emperor penguin or a king penguin or whatever it was.
That's between like mass market expedition
exactly.
And also really well organized luxe expedition. And we're here with Brandon Townsley, VP of Sales from Atlas Ocean Voyages. They have a home base here in Fort Lauderdale.
Correct.
They're backed by a company in Portugal.
Right.
They launched with the first ship July 17, 2021 from Valletta,
Malta, yeah.
And it's a Mediterranean cruise we're going to talk about next, Bucket List Mediterranean. And it's a new cruise line with experienced people.
Very.
I mean, I know Michelle, her background. I now know your background. And obviously I'm now friends with Alicia Logan, and she's, she knows my friends in town when she was a Windstar.
Yeah.
And then she was with Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah, and she started her career on board.
So you guys have a lineage of amazing experience in your company, and that gives me confidence as a travel agent, because I'm putting my clients' faith in you guys. And as a new product, we don't know.
Right.
And there's one I won't mention you recently worked for that is the kind of like not doing the right things. I saw a guy from a big brand, and he's like, in February before things went crazy, he goes, they came and sell their inaugural. Mm. So you guys are doing the right things, and you're hiring the right people, and you're giving yourselves time. I like the fact they're a good year away from launching, and that was always the plan.
Yes.
I mean, pretty much June or July. I mean,
yes.
in that time frame. And one ship to start, but then you also have more ships coming.
Yes, we do. We have a really aggressive growth plan. World Navigator actually has 4 sisters, so we'll take Navigator delivery of her in June of next year. So then in 2022, we actually get 2 ships. We get World Traveler and World Seeker, and then 2 more in 2023. So we'll have 5 ships in the water, all sisters, by the end of 2023, and that's just the start.
Oh, so all the same model as
Correct.
World Navigator.
Right. So it's a Navigator class, if you want to call it that, class of vessels. There'll be all the walls pretty much will be the same. There might be some soft goods that are different, but pretty much the same floor plan through all 5 ships. So the ships are being built in Viasa, which is in northern Portugal, in a shipyard called, I think it's called Sky Sea. And I've actually been there. It was really exciting. We were there last October. So we got to see the shipyard, and coming from a big ship line, it was very interesting to see how smaller ships are built. And the shipyard is very busy because it has all the river ship orders as well as our orders. So we sort of, it's a very, very busy shipyard. It was very interesting to see how things were being built. And World World Navigator is in dry dock and is being built, and some very interesting pictures came, so you can see the steel being put together in blocks.
Well, it's nice that Hunter, I got some stats here for those who love stats. 10,000 gross tons, right?
10,000 gross tons.
I mean, to give you perspective, we have a wreck out here. We dive. Spiegel Grove has been down since 2002 here in Key Largo, the diving capital of the world, by the way, self-proclaimed. And that's about, I think, it's a naval ship, and that's like 20,000 tons.
Wow.
And so this is, twice more compact. 196 guests. And my big point last show, is I think it's a very good point, is, being smaller, you get into ports that other ships just aren't allowed.
Right.
And never mind, if you are there, you're not getting off with 5,000 other people because they're smaller ports.
Right.
So another ship's going to be another smaller ship.
Yes.
That's the point, and that's the point of the unique itineraries you have. Why do you see those with the big boys, the mass market lines? And those are all great cruise lines. I mean, obviously, I do work with them. He's worked for them in the past. These ships being so, what's the word, I guess? Quaint?
Nimble.
Yep.
There's an example that I love to use. Last summer, I spent a week and a half in Positano on the Amalfi Coast, which is amazing. What I loved about it, it was so remote. A lot of the big ships can't get there. Typically, those lines that touted themselves as small ship cruise lines, they still have to go to Naples, and to get to the Amalfi Coast, you got to jump in a motor coach and go around to go for Fellow and Positano and Sorrento and so on and so forth. And you have to tender over to the Isle of Capri. What I love about World Navigator, and she'll call on Positano on her September 18th voyage from Piraeus to Civitavecchia, Rome, is that she'll be able to turn off the propellers, and we have an alternative propulsion system that's not as disturbing to the ocean environment and the marine life. And in a place like Positano, it's all you sit there on beautiful cliff sides in this villa, or you're down at the beach club enjoying some mussels and a beer, one of my favorite things. I imagined World Navigator shutting off those propellers and gliding into the yacht basin where all those million dollar yachts, and we don't have to drop anchor because we have the GPS positioning. So the GPS positioning keeps us in place, and instead of having the ship go to Sorrento and anchor and come in, or go all the way to Naples, we can just glide into Positano, turn on the GPS for global positioning, and we'll do Zodiac landings right in the middle of town. So right where the Zodiacs go, there's a Zodiac Marina. It's a floating dock where the little Zodiacs come in from all the million-dollar yachts and get on shore. We'll do the same thing for our guests. And they can have dinner in town because we stay late, right there in the city center at the base of the mountain, or they can venture up into the hills and eat at a quaint little restaurant overlooking the harbor. So just imagine that. It provides that experience that you just can't do on other big ships.
Absolutely. I love the fact you guys have invested, the company's invested in new technology. You made it clear in your webinars, you made it clear on the website, you're using eco-friendly engines. Mm-hmm. The dynamic positioning, my friend here who worked here as a dive captain, he got certified in that in the Gulf Coast to work all the oil rigs. It's all dynamic positioning. And it's a big captain certification to get that, lots of hours. And that's the latest technology out there, so you don't have to damage the ocean bottom. Right. So they're eco-friendly. Well, it's around 2:30. Gonna just take a quick little break here and toast the Bug Pup for having us. So, have a drink yourself out there watching. It's a beautiful Monday here in Key Largo. We're at mile marker 86.7. The reason I keep saying that, it's right there in that sign if I forget.
We call that the green room.
The green room, yeah.
So I was preparing for the show, and they were creating the. He was back there. Creating these two coconuts, so we really got an up close and personal experience, an authentic Keys experience, watching him create the coconuts, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so those of you, again, if you want to switch over to your mobile device or a different device, whatever works, the audio is better here because we have this nice beautiful mic, but I do have my production assistant giving views of the courtyard here. And she'll also take a peek inside at some point to kind of show you the Bug Pup. They've done a lot of work here. It's beautiful. Even my first time here, they were doing the coconuts. And I mean, talk about a Keysy environment. And this is why I decided to have the show here. And then it's improved. Before it was just kind of backed up. We put a banner up. Now there's woman named Amy Creations. You walked by the porthole, and she just made this wall just 2 weeks ago. She's still working on it. It's going to go all the way down, and it's just a great place to hang out. And then while you're here, it's not just about the Bug Pub. They're one of 13 businesses here in the village, and you got to look close to count them all.
Right.
So when you walk in, there's little artists here, and they're all independent artists, and I like that because I'm in an independent travel agency, A1A Radio, A1A Media Network. We broadcast live on the audio channels and on their YouTube page. They're also independent radio stations. They represent independent artists. So it's kind of a marriage of independent. And the Keys, and you've been here for a weekend, you said? You spent time here? It's mostly independent little businesses.
Right, there's no chains.
Hardly any chains here, mostly mom and pop, and that's what we're all about. And so I couldn't think of a better place to have the show for. And the guy I mentioned, Michael Marinelli, the real estate cock, he had a show, and I was invited on it to promote this show. And I'm like, it's not close to home. I'm a half hour away, but this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
And what's the lobster's name? You can't miss the lobster.
Good question. The lobster's Bessie. You get a picture yet?
Bessie? No, we'll have to take a picture.
That's the most Instagrammable spot in the Upper Keys, and number 2 in the Keys behind the southernmost point in Bowie.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. That's Betsy. That's her nickname. Betsy was actually commissioned for an artist for the Treasure Montessori School across the street.
Okay.
Or I'm not sure why she was commissioned. If someone knows it, text it. And it sat there for years. And then one day, I guess, they decided to, put it over here, or how it worked out. And what an attraction.
Right,
like, hey,
exactly.
And they got this
Stop
nice
and see
long
Betsy,
parking lot. So as soon as you see when you come down the street, if you're new into the Keys or you're just visiting now we're open for public. We are open to the public, thank God. You wouldn't have gotten here if you weren't. I'd have to write you a certified letter or something.
Right, exactly.
So Brandon drove down this weekend, actually spent time in the Keys. We appreciate that. We love our visitors. It's been a long time without them.
Yeah.
And when you come down to the Rain Barrel Village, you'll see Betsy. Don't worry, you got plenty of time to stop because the parking lot goes way past Betsy. And there's actually a side parking lot. So if you see 10 cars out front, pull to the right is a back parking lot and a side entrance by Amy's Creation, who created this wall. And check out, not just the front, the rain garden. We'll love it because that's Bianca and Bianca's parents, Gary's in-laws, the guy was on before. The 13 independent businesses inside the village. You can't tell that from out front. I mean, you have to walk in back to see it. So great place to have a show. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
I want to transition next to Bucket List Mediterranean. Since you guys are on the show, 4 times, and each time we're going to talk about Antarctica, and I've been promoting that, so I want to give them a little bit of break on that and finish talking about that. I do want to talk about each one of your locations you highlight on your website and how you find Brandon Townsley, the VP of Sales for Atlas Ocean Voyages. They do have a phenomenal Facebook page. Your PR department's been great to work with. They're doing a great job. And they also have a website, and you can learn all about the oceans and the ships there and their itinerary. So you have this wonderful itinerary. Bucket List Mediterranean. Right off the website, by the way. So tell me about, I'm a bucket list travel expert, self-proclaimed, but I have a lot of credibility in planning unique trips. And that's what I'm into myself. I'm into going unique places. So tell me about where that name came from, because a layman could go on the website and see some popular ports here and say, hey, well, I can get most of these on a mass market line, or I can get most of these on a smaller ship line. Why is your itinerary, which is on the website, Atlas Ocean Voyages, why is this Bucket List Mediterranean?
Because we wanted to create, since most of our itineraries really go to some unique and lesser known, less traveled places, in this particular itinerary, we wanted to highlight some of those bucket list destinations that for many Americans in particular that they would love to go and they would love to see. So the itinerary starts out in the port city for Rome. It's called Civitavecchia. It's about an hour from Rome. So you can fly in. Yeah, you can fly into Rome, and you can have everybody. Rome is on their bucket list if they haven't been there. The Vatican and the Colosseum, and everything Rome has to offer. The quintessential Italian experience. So that's a great opportunity to take those things, check those off your bucket list. Then the first port of call is Livorno, which is the port city where guests can travel to Florence, which is the heart of Tuscany, where they can visit the fabulous art museums, particularly the Uffizi, see the Statue of David. That's a bucket list experience. The Tower of Pisa, get that iconic photograph, that Instagrammable moment in Pisa and the Leaning Tower. Then the next port of call is Marseille, which is in the Provence region of France. So great opportunity to visit a variety of destinations. Right now, rosé is hot. Everybody went from, I remember those days of white Zinfandel, and I never really thought, you know, a pink wine, but rosé has developed into a wonderful wine varietal, and they have some great opportunities to visit some wineries there, and sample the different grapes, do a hot air ballooning excursion over the vineyards, and wrap it all up with some mussels and rosé in the yacht basin in the marina area of Marseille before heading off to Barcelona. You know, Barcelona, it's where many Mediterranean cruises start.
Great city.
Large ships, but it's such a wonderful city. Personally, my favorite thing to do, as I mentioned before, I love to go down to the boardwalk on the beach and they have a name for those little bars that are right there on the beach. I wish we had them in the U.S. And you just grab a bucket of beer. I think the beer's name is Estrella, which is brewed right there in Barcelona.
Very
and then
nice.
mussels and shrimp, and they call them langostas right there. They grill them. That's my favorite thing to do, is just sit there on the beach and have some beers and mussels and shrimp. But for those who have not been to Barcelona, I mean, it's an amazing city full of culture. Las Ramblas is a must-see, in the marketplace, the outdoor market area on Las Ramblas. And then you have everything that Salvador Dali has, the architecture, the temple, the church. I'm drawing a blank. What's the church there called?
On Las Ramblas?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Not on Las Ramblas, the big church, I'm drawing a blank, that everybody wants to see. Built, the architect, everything, of course, the famous architect is Gaudí, who was there in Barcelona. He constructed this
exactly
church.
what you're talking about, yeah.
It's not done. I think it's done in a few years. It's taken like 30 years or something to build. Then if you want to get outside Barcelona and visit Montserrat, which is a monastery up on a mountain, and see the Black Madonna, which was brought there by the Crusaders, and that's an amazing experience. So much to do in and around Barcelona. Then the ship continues down to Valencia, in the Valencia region, Valencia is known as the arts and sciences capital of Spain. So the wonderful art museums there, tons to do. Next port of call is Malaga, where we actually spend some time, a later departure. I think we're there until midnight. Also in Barcelona, we're there until 8 p.m. I believe. So you can get a little bit more of the cultural and the culinary experience of Barcelona. In Malaga, we're there till midnight. So that gives our guests the opportunity to go down to the Spanish Riviera and Portobanús and Marbella, which is absolutely fantastic. Beautiful, quintessential Spanish Riviera town. A beautiful place to hang out at the marina before heading over to Gibraltar. A great opportunity. I think Gibraltar is still a British outpost. And you go up the top of the Gibraltar, and they explain the strategic, because you're right there, and they were able to control the shipping lanes to the Mediterranean. So that's why it was such an important outpost for England and for Britain, and I think it's still a British overseas city. And you have to go to the top of the rock at Gibraltar, and you get the monkey experience. There are monkeys everywhere. You're not supposed to touch them, but the monkeys are not afraid of humans, and one planted themselves right on my shoulder and my head. So I was walking around with a monkey on my back for a while.
So we have monkeys in Gibraltar.
Yeah, monkeys in Gibraltar, but what's really neat there, when you're on top of the rock, the airport separates Gibraltar, the rock, from the mainland. And it's an airport, and they actually have to close down the runway, or close off the street, dissects the runway, the highway. So when a plane lands, they actually have to close the highway, so the plane can come in and land, and you're, I don't know how many thousands of feet up, and you're overlooking and watching them close down the highway in the intersection and watching the plane land. And then before concluding the trip in Lisbon, which Portugal is hot right now. A great place to visit. And Lisbon's an amazing city. It's really, I've been there several times over the past 10, 15 years, and you know, the Portuguese discovered tourism and what that means to their economy, and they've done an outstanding job, and fantastic restaurants and places to hang out in Lisbon. They've really done a great job. It's a great destination to conclude your cruise and spend a few days in Lisbon and the surrounding area.
Well, it's nice. So you get into these cities, but you're really getting into the details. Like in Gibraltar, you mentioned two things I never heard of: the monkeys and the runway.
Yeah.
So it gives me confidence in saying, hey, do bucket list Mediterranean, because this company is going deeper. They're getting more intimate in the destination. They can do that because, the price you're paying, it's an all-inclusive voyage.
Right. The
ship gets into tighter spaces, and you guys have a product where that's what you're all about.
Right.
And I really appreciate that. That's why I'm really high in the company. And again, appreciate you being here. Appreciate the sponsorship. So Bucket List Mediterranean, it's on their website. I'm not promoting a group on this per se, but I'm really putting my backing behind it. It's a really wonderful itinerary. And it's not a very long cruise.
It's only 7 nights.
Where Antarctica, Antarctica, like we're going to talk about next, is 12 nights. We're going to close in Antarctica because it's the awesome trip. This is a nice vacation. Could be a bucket list for some, but mostly it's more of a where I wish I was right now. I wish I was in the Mediterranean, because every city is like an historic city.
Right.
We like the Caribbean, it's fun, it's tropical, but a lot of the cities, you've been there once, you've seen it all, you've seen the shops. But Mediterranean, if you have Rome, Civitavecchia, Livorno goes to Florence, Marseille, Barcelona, Valencia, Malaga, Gibraltar, Lisbon. These are all historic places, and you can go there again and again and again. There's still so much to see,
and still see something new every time.
And then you go with a cruise line like Atlas Ocean Voyages, whose tour guides and leaders are trained to find the niche experience, the intimate experiences. And that's what the company's all about. And plus, you're also based in Europe.
Correct. Well, our parent company, one of our parent companies is based in Porto, actually, which is a beautiful city in Portugal. Beautiful city. I mean, Lisbon is quite beautiful, but Porto is sort of like that little hidden gem not many people know about. So beautiful hotels and squares, and architecture is amazing. And that's right, Porto is also on the Douro River. And the Douro River is quite beautiful. Wine region. And Portuguese wines are delicious, particularly down in Madeira, which is an island in Funchal off of the coast of Africa. So it's a great destination as well.
Excellent destination. This is Bucket List Mediterranean, and you have a itinerary posted September 25th, 2021. You can contact me, David Hartman, to book you the cruise on that. And it goes from September 25th to October 2nd. And to all the cities we listed, Rome, Florence, Marseille, Barcelona, Valencia, that's a really not a normal cruise destination, Malaga, Gibraltar, Lisbon. It's just one of the trips we're going to focus here on what Atlas Ocean Voyages does, because you're doing some unique things on each of these cruises, and I think that's fantastic. So Bucket List Mediterranean, give me a call, 305-453-9208, dave@bucketlisttrip.com if you have interest in this cruise, any cruise, but especially one from Atlas Ocean Voyages, our new sponsor here on the Enjoy the Journey Luxury Travel Show on Radio A1A and the A1A Media Network, and live on Facebook today. 2 different channels. And we got a lot of stuff going on. So we're going to transition here. We got 15 minutes left. I'm not going to take the whole 15, but I want to close out with some things about the Bug Pub. I do want to talk about the trip I've put my weight behind. And so I've talked about it. I'll mention it, but they've heard it from me already. So it's the Antarctic Solar Eclipse Cruise, November 28th to December 9th, 2021. I already have a Facebook event listing. I'm promoting it. We're working on a website to go up very soon. And I booked a group on this, a certain number of cabins at a discount rate you can no longer get because groups are closed.
And air is included in your group.
Air is included in the group. So just straight off, why would someone listening, watching, who has interest in travel in general, why would they go on this one cruise?
Because this is your opportunity to see something that's going to be happening on December 7th of 2021. It's the only place in the world to see a full solar eclipse of the sun. So on this November 28th departure, World Navigator will be perfectly positioned in the Scotia Sea to witness a full solar eclipse of the sun. So it's a very, very unique opportunity for 186 lucky guests to say that they've witnessed something that very, very, very few people on this Earth, on the planet, will get to witness on December 7th of 2021, and that's a full solar eclipse of the sun.
That's what drew me to it. I was like, whoa. I said, again, what do I ask? What is your bucket list trip? Where do you wish you were right now? I wish I saw an eclipse. One did pass through the country, in narrow spots, obviously. 2017, I was down here. I couldn't get to the place I needed to go to see. It was too crazy. And bucket list, Antarctica, that's like everyone's bucket list. And there are other companies doing this, but to do it with your product, the World Navigator, the kind of service you promote, and to add in a total solar eclipse. I was already talking to Alicia Logan about sponsorship, Michelle about sponsorship. I said, you guys come on the show and sponsor the show. I said, well, listen, not that, I'm going to get a group on this voyage. I wasn't even a salesperson. I'm like, okay, where do I sign? Sign me up. And it was a very reasonable contract to get into. And I got in under the wire. Now no more group space. And the rates I have on hold for the people that want to join me. And I'm going on the cruise. I can't tell you, I've not put my weight behind a bucket list product or any product in a long time. I've gone on fam trips, exploration trips. I check out things. I've been to Hawaii twice the past 2 years. Very fortunate for my business. But to be on a trip where I'm bringing people along, that's a Pied Piper and a leader, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a good trip. If I'm going to take 2 weeks out of my busy travel agency schedule and spend some time on a wonderful ship, I mean, I wish I could do it all the time, but this one I'm already clearing my schedule for a year and a half in advance. November 28th to December 9th, 2021, on the World Navigator from Atlas Ocean Voyages. It is an Antarctic total solar eclipse cruise. I keep saying lunar, I combine the word, but it's complete. It's actually a once in 400 year event. And actually, if you go to Wikipedia, it's pretty cool. They show an animation. It actually goes reverse, where most eclipses start at, I think, west and go east. And this is actually reversed because it's so far down the bottom. But the complete last continent, Antarctica, is going to be under dark. Now we're going to be already had landings, and then kind of sailing along.
Right, because it starts in Ushuaia and then down the Antarctic Peninsula. So there'll be some captain's calls. And is your audience familiar with what a captain's call means?
Explain, please.
So a captain's call, Antarctica in general is unlike any other cruise experience because there's really no ports of call. So you can't say we're going to tie up at 7 a.m. and we're going to depart at 5 p.m. So there's no gangways, there's no ports or anything like that. So it's very unique because what captain's call is that all the captains of all the ships are in contact with each other. Antarctica, the weather changes very quickly, one of the highlights is, of course, the animals and what they're doing. So they don't stay in one place, so all the captains are in contact with each other, and they radio each other and let each other know where's the best weather and where's the both animal activity, and what areas have the best guest experience. So that's how what we call captain's choice is where the captains will actually go to the area where we can do the safest and the best guest experience Zodiac landing. So because there aren't any ports. So that's why there's no arrival departure times or anywhere on the Antarctic Peninsula. So the cruise it's a unique 12 nights, so you have a few more nights than our standard 9. Starts off in Ushuaia, it goes across the Drake Passage, then starts on the Antarctic Peninsula and then up through the Shetland Islands. So there's Deception Island, which is actually the crater, the top of a volcano. They call that something, has a word for it, but it's basically
caldera.
The caldera. So it's just the top. It's like the top of it. So you go in there, and because it's an active volcano, the water's actually a little warmer. So the abundance of sea life is quite remarkable.
Amazing.
And when you have abundance of sea life, those seals are hungry. So there's a lot of seals that do there's some feeding in there. And then you'll pass through Neptune's Bellows, which is a narrow channel, then up past Elephant Island that has an abundance of elephant seals, of course, has its name, and also the Gentoo penguins and the chinstrap penguins. Then it'll be positioned in the Scotia Sea. World Navigator will be positioned perfectly in the Scotia Sea on December 7th, then continue on to the South Georgia and Sandwich Islands, which are a great addition to this itinerary because it brings us a little bit further north. You actually access the South Georgia Islands, which are very, very remote. We'll call on Gold Harbor, which is known for the gold cliffs because of the terrain, and when the sunlight comes in, it gives the cliffs a gold hue. And also Gold Harbor and this part of the South Georgia Islands is known for the Emperor and the King penguins, which sort of everybody knows March the little penguins, but these guys are the big guys.
Big boys.
I can't remember which one, either the King or the Emperor are actually a little bit more remote because they nest further inland, so you have to take a hike inland, whereas the other species are quite the colonies are right there on the ocean, a little bit more accessible. So those two breeds of penguins are available for guests to see, which they may not see on the Antarctic Peninsula itineraries. The penguins are a little smaller; they're more the chinstrap and the Gentoo breed, and the Adelie penguins as well. But this is where in South Georgia is where you're able to see the bigger penguins. And then the ship will return through the Scotia Sea across the Drake Passage, and then back into Ushuaia on a very unique 12-night voyage.
I'm getting even more excited now. It sounds like this is really a deep dive Antarctica.
Yeah, it's a little bit more.
We kind of referenced it before just because we're excited and that's how shows go. There's many Antarctica cruises. I book clients on ones that did do landings. There are some that literally you just kind of wave to the shoreline. They're more explorations, not expeditions. Yeah. So the World Navigator from Atlas Ocean Voyages is a luxe expedition ship. It's an expedition ship, an icebreaker hull.
Yes, we're Polar Class 6.
So you have to be a certain level, and I don't know who rates it, the World Coast Guard or whatever it is, but to even approach their waters.
Right.
To make it, you get close enough to send a Zodiac. Because you can't send a Zodiac 2 miles. I'm sure people have tried.
Right.
But so you have to get close enough, and you can't get close enough unless you're a certain level hull, because customer passenger safety is first and foremost.
Of course. Right.
So that's critical. This is a expedition ship with the proper equipment, proper people on board, which I want to mention about the people on board your ships. And that has the hull, it has the design to allow a deep dive. And then you leave Ushuaia, which is the bottom, Google it, bottom of Argentina.
That's
mean, near Straits of Magellan. And the air is included, which is a flight round trip, say Miami, where I'm going to leave from. And by the way, I'm impressed with the major gateways you cover.
Yeah, 16.
I'm not going to list them all, but give me a call. I'll give you the details. It's a little bit minutiae to cover here, 16 gateways. The 16 major gateways in the U.S., their air economies included. You get a suite, business class is included?
In your group, I think.
Yes, okay, fantastic. And
until June 30th, I believe.
Yes. So Argentina has an international airport.
In Buenos Aires.
Easy or something, Buenos Aires. And then there's also a regional airport, and that's where there's a charter flight to Ushuaia. And that goes down to Ushuaia round trip. So both of those legs are covered.
Right.
Because I've heard, I don't know if it's true, other cruise lines, they covered one but not the other or something. They only cover the charter.
And if you're from what we call a secondary gateway, like maybe Memphis, Tennessee.
Sure.
So we'll be happy to sell you that leg from Memphis to, say, Miami or Atlanta, wherever the flight down to Buenos Aires is available from. So we'll sell you that that leg, but to one of the 16 gateways, and then from that, whatever those 16 gateways are, Atlanta, Miami, Dallas, we'll cover the air to South America.
I love it. It's a great package. It's the Antarctic Solar Eclipse Cruise. I'm going on it. I'm leading a group. I have a number of cabins booked at special pricing, less than you can find online. Why do you use a travel agent? Service, of course, and personality. Of course. But also, at times, a lot of times, preferred pricing and service. And on this trip, it's pricing you can't get yourself, and it's quite a savings, especially on a premium ticket. It's a premium cruise. You may have sticker shock, but you gotta look close at all the inclusions. November 28th to December 9th, 2021, the World Navigator, which launches next July from Atlas Ocean Voyages, sailing round trip to Ushuaia. We actually may do some time in Buenos Aires. Obviously, it's too early to plan that, even for my contacts. But I talked to Alyssa Logan about that. So just wait, and because I've never been to Buenos Aires and I want to go. And I have a friend who's done all this. She's from Argentina. To them, Antarctica is like a day trip.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They've done. Oh yeah, I love Ushuaia. I'm like, who loves Ushuaia?
Yeah.
I'm like, but she grew up there. This is Giselle Saccone. Hey Giselle. She called me after last. My Facebook Live ran. And I got home and she gave me a call. Here's what you got to do. I'm like, whoa. So I can't add a week and do the triangle tour, the trip. I'm like, I can't add a week onto this trip. Maybe I could. So we may do a bunch of time in Argentina. We'll see, folks. That's to be determined. But we do know the cruise is happening on World Navigator, November 28th to December 9th, 2021, from Atlas Ocean Voyages. And I'll be on the cruise with my preferred pricing. We had a group, some great cabins available. Book a suite and get butler service. I can do that and bring it into the group, I heard.
Yep.
I'm all about suite service. I've done suites before. Butler service is very cool. This is a true once-in-a-lifetime trip. The combination of the two, for most people, just Antarctica is once in a lifetime. For most people, a total eclipse is once in a lifetime. But to have an eclipse in an area where it happens once every 400 years, and you really could have thrown this together 10 ways. I love the design of the trip. I love the fact you go in, Ushuaia, Drake Passage, which is the crossing, and South Shetland Islands, and then you do the peninsula, which is all captain's call. I'm a dive instructor, dive to condition.
Yeah.
I want to do molasses, I want to do Christ statue. Not happening today.
Yeah.
Conditions don't, why? Because we dive to conditions. So we understand that very much in the diving capital of the world here in the Keys. And then on the 7th day of cruise, which is December 4th, is the total eclipse, in over 2 minutes of totality. There's a lot of eclipses that happen. We had 45% here in the Keys. I'm sure in Fort Lauderdale was near the same. This is a total eclipse, and you know it's total because when it goes dark, all the birds go crazy. So I guess the penguins go crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. All the whales start jumping around the ship. And then And tell us about the second, a little bit. So it was a little more on South Georgia and Sandwich Islands.
Right. So typically, we have our typical 9-night Antarctica will go down south. Yeah. And then we have one cruise in February that will go all the way across the, there's another 12-night voyage that goes down even into the circle and back up. So this particular departure, so that we're situated in the Scotia Sea for the eclipse, it comes down, it starts from the bottom and generally goes up towards the Georgia Islands. Okay. So typically, South Georgia Islands are included on longer itineraries that may come down from Ushuaia, from Buenos Aires. So this will give a unique opportunity to really visit a remote area of the world and really see some wildlife and some things that's not available on the Arctic Peninsula, on the Antarctic Peninsula.
I love it. So it's a full 12-night cruise. Again, it's got a premium price, but to me, it's a value. I mean, I've seen some 7-night cruises with that kind of price they're on similar ships. So this is, to me, a really good value. Unique trip. Brandon Townsley, VP of Sales from Atlas Ocean Voyages, is here putting a stamp on it. Say, Dave, you picked a good trip, right?
You picked a great trip.
Picked a great trip. A true bucket wish trip. That's my term, bucket wish trip. Getting a trademark, by the way. What is your bucket list trip? Antarctica. Where do you wish you were right now? On this ship, seeing a total eclipse. I mean, I wish I was on a ship anywhere, but
yep.
Who knows? You may see me putting groups on all your ships everywhere. I'm really, I told you I had a charter meeting in sales, and one day I want to charter that ship for one of my clients. And I still have corporate clients. They're kind of fading away right now.
Oh, great.
But,
yeah, it's perfect for an incentive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 196 passengers, 1 to 1.4 guest to crew ratio. Maybe I've had that reversed.
Yeah.
But
one guest for every 1.4. One crew member for every 1.4 guest.
Brandon's here to correct me. Thank you very much. And that means almost as many crew members on board as guests. That means a lot of attention to detail, a lot of service. Why do people do luxury? Why do I sell luxury? Why do I promote luxury? Why is this the luxury travel show? Because my clients are discriminating. I like to work with people who are discriminating, who like the extra attention. And that's what this kind of smaller ships gives you. And to have that combined with this amazing itinerary is, to me, the ultimate trip. And that's why I put my stamp behind it. How do you find out about it? The best way right now, it's Fantastic Endeavors Facebook page and look for the event listing. It's in the feed, but let's go to the event. It's listed there. Take the extra click. And we'll have the website up soon with the details. And just call me, 305-453-9208, dave@bucketwishtrip.com. How do you find our new sponsor, Atlas Ocean Voyages? atlasoceanvoyages.com. And also they have a Facebook page. And it's doing pretty well. It's gaining a following. I love it. And they have all the pictures there of their itineraries and their ships. And always in my events for each show, by the way, those of you who find me on Facebook events, I always put pictures of my sponsors and their shows. So this past week I put pictures of your ships and pictures of the itinerary in Antarctica. So it's an exciting itinerary, exciting ship. I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you.
I mean, it's been a wonderful show. We're going to go a little long today, guys, because we're going to be beyond the broadcast time, but Facebook Live is still going to run. I want to go through these comments now because if I get home, I'll forget. And so stay with us, folks. And I'm going to actually, as I go through comments, so you don't watch me staring at a screen, I'm going to have my production assistant try to maybe turn our camera. It's kind of wired in, but we're going to see that. But thank you again, Brandon Townsley, VP of Sales with Atlas Ocean Voyages. And the World Navigator, the first ship, launches in July of 2021 with a Mediterranean cruise from Valletta, Malta. And I will be sailing on the Antarctic Total Solar Eclipse Cruise. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Woof. November 28th to December 9th, 2021. Join me on that cruise and contact me for information. Brandon, thank you again.
It's a pleasure, thank you.
I mean, now I know why I enjoyed your webinar so much. You have such passion for the product. And I can't thank you enough. They are a top tier sponsor of my travel show. These shows do not happen without sponsors, folks. So make sure you support our sponsors. But just contact me to book them.
Great. Thank you, David.
Good to see you. And one more toast before you leave. Wish you all were here at the Bug Club. Oh, hit the mic.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your Monday. If you can hang out, I'll talk to you after you have to go. We'll catch up.
No, I'm good.
Excellent.
I'll check it over.
Well, it's 3:02. We went over. So, thank you, folks. Brandon does an excellent webinar, very passionate. And I knew we just keep talking because he just knows so much. And you know, when I talk about something, I have credibility. But when the actual supplier talks about it, that's the real credibility. Hold on while I get a drink. Cheers from the Bug Club. So let me finish my plugs here. Again, new sponsor of the show, Atlas Ocean Voyages. in the World Navigator ship. Talked all about them today. I do want to thank the A1A Media Network and Radio A1A. This show does not happen without them. This show will be all over their feeds and all over their Facebooks later. And we are live today on David W. Hartman. We also did some unique things with Fantastic Endeavors. Just tried something different. Obviously, my personal page has so many friends that page has the real following. So I'm going to go through now and kind of see what I can find what's going on and keep talking to you guys. And thank you all for coming. And sorry if I didn't wave at you. We were going to try to wave at you as we went, but the camera would literally fall over if we did that. So I will catch up later on some of these waves. But thank you all for, wow, big crowd today. Yeah, we have a few live people left. Stay on for a few more minutes, folks. I'm going to try to get back to some of these comments. Some people pop back on. We got more coming back on. Again, to find out about the trip I'm promoting. Hey, still on. Can't take away my props. Gary, who was on to start the show, tried to take away my props. And I'm just checking out all your, thanks for the comments. Poor Jan, so sorry. So as we close out, oh hey, I'm going to talk, see if you can turn the camera, let it go live, and just with the stand, try to turn it to show Gary. We're late in the show, so we're going to try some crazy stuff. So make sure the mic stays plugged in. You're going to unplug the power cord. Okay, good. So you're not going to see me anymore, but I'm still on the mic. Hello, hello. And you're going to see Gary Marsh, who was on the show to start. He's the proprietor here, him and his wife, Bianca. Oh, here it goes. I see it going. I'm watching live, too. It's a little delay. Hey, there's the Bug Pub Courtyard. Okay, so we're gonna again, we're on Facebook Live still, so there's no time limit. Because last time we got a complaint, we didn't show the courtyard. We're showing the courtyard. So here is an actual customer coconut coming your way. And you're going to see it here in a few seconds. So on the left is a big bin of coconuts. And Gary or Bianca's father will take out a coconut and machete. That's the noise you heard. And they'll serve it fresh to a client. And that's what I was toasting with before. And now our wonderful team is scanning. I love all the markings here. I mean, it's so Keezy. So what does Keezy mean? Eclectic, tropical, colorful, warm, inviting. There was Brandon on the feed. Hey, Brandon's still around. He's hanging around. We're going to chill later. Maybe have a beer at the Bug Pub. So where we happen today, those of you new, we're at the Bug Pub. And I'm watching on delay, so I can't comment on the feed. So I'm not going to comment on the feed anymore. It's delayed back to me. But we're showing you the courtyard of the Bug Pub at the Rain Barrel Village, 86.7 mile marker, 86.7 on the Bayside in Almirada, Florida. I live maybe 20 minutes away in the Florida Keys. We're open for business. The Bug Pub is open for business. Last week it was kind of limited. They are open for business. June 1st, the Keys open to visitors, no more checkpoints, and June 5th, all of the bars opened. There are some limitations on capacity. You may have to wear a mask in certain places, but just check with the establishment and have a mask ready when you arrive. Come in, talk to Gary, talk to Bianca. Check out the Rain Barrel Village, and there are 13 independent artists and stores here, and support our local businesses here in the Keys. That's why I live here. I'm an independent travel agency. That's why I support local businesses by doing the show from Gary's and Bianca's place here, the Bug Pub. And that's why I'm a big part of A1A Media Network and doing their travel show there, because they're an independent radio station with independent artists on board. And a big shout out to all my Tropicana peeps out there. They really support my pages and support what I do and support the show. Thank you for joining today. I'm worn out. We had a little different format today because we had a sponsor to give them enough time. We didn't have a secondary break. Our first break was just kind of me reading the new ad I wrote for them. And I appreciate a new sponsor. Atlas Ocean Voyages, the World Navigator, launched in July. Call me about my trip. How do you reach me for any travel needs? 305-453-9208 and dave@bucketwishtrip.com. Like my page on Fantastic Endeavors. Like the Bug Pubs page. Like the Rain Barrels page. And definitely on YouTube, A1A Media Network. Please subscribe and subscribe for notifications. Social media runs what we do. We have the channels on A1A Media Network, which is Radio A1A, Cruising Country Audio, but they're all powered by social media. And your support is needed, and your activity is needed. I really appreciate, I mean, I was on the corner of my eye as I was interviewing Brandon. I mean, the views today were fantastic. Last show hit about 1,600 views total, which is awesome. And big surprise, and this one's going to be probably even more because we had just a great show today. Thanks for being here. Support our pages, support what we do. Give me a call, 305-453-9208, dave@bucketwishtrip.com. Have a great Monday, folks.
Come on, what are you waiting for? They're serving rum up, it's right next door. There's a party on the sandbar in the Keys. It's been a